We've not been.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Hello, my loves, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're diving into the Essence Music Festival. Once the heartbeat of Black culture, but does it still represent us now? Some say it's becoming way too commercialized, and others are calling for a boycott. We'll explore the changing landscape of the festival, the concerns about the rising prices, and corporate involvement, and the question on everybody's mind, should we still support it, or is it time to let it go? We are going to dive into this. My royal court today is Melissa B., thought leader, victim services advocate, and our beautiful Marla Layson, TV and film producer. And we may be joined a little bit later by another one of our queens. Now, I'm going to have to ask this question first because I'm going to be very honest. I've never been to the Essence Music Festival, so I've never had that experience. So, Melissa, have you ever been before?
I haven't. I always wanted to go, but I never got a chance yet.
How about you, Marlo?
I've gone as a participant, and I've also worked the festival in different capacities for many, many seasons. So either attending or working, yes. I'm very familiar with that.
So you got a lot of experience that we don't have. I mean, I've seen, of course, the clips and the videos and things of that nature, but, that always never really does it justice, just because you're missing the energy if you're not there. But we want to dive into this, and we want to ask our viewership family as well. Have you been to the Essence Music Festival, and what was your experience? So let us know before we start diving into this, because there's a lot to unpack. So let's check out this first video, and then we'll get into the conversation. Okay, maybe not. So we have Deborah, who said that I've never been either, and I had the opportunity twice. Oh, you did? Okay, so come on, spill the beans. Deborah, spill the beans. How come you didn't get a chance to go? So I would love to hear that. Okay, so then this question is for you, Marlo, since you have a lot of experience with this. What was the original essence of the Essence Music Festival, and how has it changed in your eyes over the years?
So the first Essence, before there was Essence, there was something that was called like a Coca-Cola Superfest or something like that, and it was a big R&B concert weekend. The 25th anniversary of Essence, which was the year I graduated, 1995, so 30 years ago, Essence came aboard to celebrate Black women in what people call, the northernmost Caribbean city in the United States, right? So they convened all these Black women to the city of New Orleans during the July 4th weekend. And it was always fun, right? Families, we would get together. Some people went to the concert, some people didn't. For some people, it was cost prohibitive. But for other people, they would get the weekend pass and do their thing. I've been a few times. There have always been corporate sponsorships, whether it's Coca-Cola, Ford, Verizon. Many major corporations have been in the game helping with Essence. And because Essence has what they used to call the empowerment series, where it be these day-long, you can hear speakers from like Roland Martin, Oprah Winfrey, like who's who in Black America would get up and, have a conversation in front of people. And that event was free. It was an all-day event, convention center, and that portion was free. Because of that, Essence was getting money from the state of Louisiana, because it was a cultural thing. So through the Board of Tourism or whoever, they had this partnership. So Essence has been part of New Orleans culture for sure. As long as I can remember, certainly all of my adulthood. And it is a big part of the city because a lot of local businesses, local restaurants get exposure during that time, because before it was cool or cachet or a hashtag, Essence was encouraging people to buy Black when they came to New Orleans.
Oh, so they were a big part of that. And now we do have a lot of these boycotts going on that we're doing with a couple of the sponsors. And so many are saying that it's a conflict of interest. So, Melissa, I'm going to ask you this, because this can go for any type of thing that we as a people see as ours and celebrate. I see this as a big, like family reunion party. But how does corporate sponsorship, especially the ones that we are now calling to task on the carpet, how does it impact cultural events like ours, like our Essence Fest? Does it dilute the experience in your eyes?
I think the most important thing is to focus on the intention as to why it started in the first place. So it's not even just a matter of the corporate funds coming in or anything like that, but more so of paying attention to what the heart or what the reason is of Essence Fest, So from what I see, or from what I researched, I see that it did start in 1995, and it was an extension of Essence Magazine too, to highlight Black experience, Black women, because representation wasn't good and stuff like that. So with all of these corporate funds coming in, it looks like, just like with BET, right? I see the same thing with BET in a way. The essence, the literal essence has like diminished. It's like, what is it about? It's just for everyone, and it's just for everything. So yeah.
And I think we lose a lot in that as well. I mean, as we go along, but I got to be very honest. There's not too many things that I truly see that started off in such a beautiful and good way. When others get involved, then it starts diluting what the purpose was for that. Now, according to some stats that we found on the Essence Fest, according to the reports, the average ticket price for Essence Fest has increased significantly, and it makes it less affordable for the average attendee. In 2023, some ticket prices were reported as high as $200 for a single day pass. So, we also know that we're kind of watching our money. So Marlo, in your experience, do you think that the cost itself could be also a reason why many are saying it's a little bit under attended this year?
Essence has never been cheap. Like, Essence was targeted for professional Black women who could afford to travel and stay at a hotel. I used to work at hotels, and for Essence weekend, if you came in on Thursday, you could not check out until Sunday. Like, that was the earliest checkout. So you had to be prepared to stay the entire weekend. This has never been a thing for downtrodden people, right? Now, the beauty of being a New Orleanian is you're going to get the hookup. I got the hookup, y'all. I got the hookup for Saturday night. So locals were never kept out of the Essence Festival experience. In terms of corporate sponsors, you got to have corporate sponsors. People want to see Prince. They want to see Beyonce. They want to see, what's the girl? Glorilla. They want to see LL Cool J. The tickets are going to be people complain about a Beyonce ticket for one artist. Imagine what it is for 15 marquee artists for 6 hours a day. There's not just the main stage. There's also a concourse, which they changed that and pissed a lot of people off. But that used to be part of the admission ticket. and you get to see Maxwell, and you get to see Jill Scott, and you see not the Fugees, the Digital Planet, and old 80s rappers, and it really was something for everyone at this festival, and I think it probably still is. I haven't been as a viewer since about 2018, and I worked my last festival in 2019 when I moved here to Shreveport. But it's a fun experience. I think people should have the experience. In my personal opinion, as a New Orleanian, having watched the Essence Fest not really change a whole lot over the last 30 years, Girls Trip did more harm to the Essence Festival than corporate sponsorship, because corporate sponsorships have always been there. Girls Trip did something else for the festival. And I think that people's expectations were based on a movie. It made people want to come. I think a lot of complaining started after Girls Trip because people were thinking they were going to be ziplining in the French Quarter and all this other unrealistic movie stuff that just is logistically, you don't want to do it in New Orleans. It's not safe, y'all. You don't want to be ziplining between two French Quarter buildings. They're 300 years old. So I could go on and on, but I won't. But I think that as Black women, you should experience it. You should walk around and see yourself reflected in all shapes, sizes, shades, accents, experiences. I think it is something very good for Black women to experience.
Now, Marlo, I have been to New Orleans twice, but it's always been around the Thanksgiving time, and it's centered around a football game. I can't remember what it is.
The Bayou Classic.
Is so to me, that's what I'm thinking that it kind of represents. Like, we had a ball going down there just for that, and seeing our people and walking around, and so to me, that's kind of the flip side of what Essence probably is as well. And I absolutely loved seeing our people walking around and having a ball, and laughing with one another, and just kind of dapping one another, and the women looking all cute, and it's an us thing. It's something about seeing one another that is exciting. And I can actually talk about that, like, even when you're overseas. When I see another Black family, when I'm in Portugal, I'm like, hey, what's your name? Where you been? It's just something about being able to connect. It is a cultural thing. And so I think that is what we should try to stick to as much as possible. But when you have these other big corporations coming in, how do you balance that? That is the question that I want to know. And we're going to definitely get back into that after this commercial.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
We are back. Now, listen, we do have a couple of comments that are very interesting, and one seems to really be wanting to get our attention, and that is Pan. Pan keeps saying, please stop toying around the truth. Tether's ruined Essence Fest. First, we're not ignoring you. We're actually having a conversation, and we appreciate your input. However, if you could please stop yelling at us with all caps, that would be great too. Marlo, what do you feel about that comment?
So, Pan, I was going to get to it because I actually wanted to apologize to the audience because last week I said that Essence was no longer Black owned. They were owned by Time Warner. What Pan is referring to is Sundial. the company that owns Essence. That company is owned by the founder of Shea Moisture. After he sold Shea Moisture, I guess he had buku money. He put it on the public trading market. He got a bunch of venture capital money. He started this firm, Sundial, and they now own the Essence Festival. So what Pan, what is it? I don't want to be disrespectful, Pan, because I can't remember the back end of it. But what Pan is referring to with the tethers, which is such a rude way to refer to our Caribbean people. Being from New Orleans, I have Haitian ancestry, so there's that. But I think that you are correct in some aspect, right? In an attempt to open up the diversity of Black people within the Essence Festival, there have been, I think, some missed opportunities. One year they actually went to South Africa. I think that's before he owned it, though. And that didn't really pan out as they would have wanted it to. And I think that there have been changes, but that's because venture capital firms move fast, right? They're all about being disruptive in the marketplace and this and that. And once people see a value in it, that's why I say the movie did more harm than anything, because people on a global scale were able to see the value of Black women. They were able to see what really happens in the Essence Festival, which is high level Black chefs giving demos, high level, the Les Browns and the Oprah Winfrey's, people who are excellent motivators and speakers giving discussions and motivating people. They saw that as a value because it has value. And anytime you get people who have an interest in making money to get involved and start to piece and parse what about this is valuable and how we can make our money tenfold, that's what we're here to talk about, right? This is the Fly Nubian money. Anytime you get people, whether they Black, brown, white, Asian, who see something for its monetary value, it's going to get watered down and it's going to get corporatized. And it doesn't matter that he is of Caribbean descent. It doesn't matter that he is a man that's from the Caribbean. He is a man that's interested in making money. And we come here every single day of the week to talk about Black people making money. And now we're having this conversation within ourselves about corporatization. And that's what this is, right? And then the state cut $2 million from what they give to Essence. I don't know what they were giving to Essence before, but a woman who sits on the New Orleans City Council, who has a interest in becoming mayor, did a video and she announced that Essence got $2 million less from the state. So if they got $2 million less from the state, are they going to charge people more to get in, or are they going to lessen the available things for people? And I don't know which one they went with. Probably a little bit of both. We're not going to make the ticket prices too high, but also we're going to scale back the production. And you're going to have a changed event. So, while we're here to talk about money, let's really talk about how money takes things that we love and it sucks the energy and the life force out of it, because people don't care about infusing our culture. They care about siphoning from it. And that's the, whatever with your tethers, brother or sister, but that's the truth of it.
I think you're right. And that's where we have a little bit of a conflict, I believe, about this when we have to, when we're counting on that money. You're right. You can't expect the moon off of a $50 ticket and want to see all the Beyoncé's and all of the, rappers and all that. Dr. Vibe says, this is the risk we take when we take corporate money. And this is the risk that we take, but you can't have both. So where is the balance? And once again, when it is our own people, we can't continue to say, let's build our wealth and then take those who did build the wealth and then slam them for that. At some point, you have to stop making the blame and start making the change, baby. If you don't like what's going on, then you need to go and make the change that you are calling for. But we're going to take a look at a video. We have a video now. So let's check this out and then we'll get back into the conversation.
Essence is over because the younger generation ain't going out there. The younger generation don't remember no Maze and no Busta Rhymes. And they darn sure don't want to see no Mary J. Blige. Mary should be somewhere sitting down with arthritis or corn on her feet for all the stomping on the stages that she been doing all of these years. The younger generation don't want to see that. The younger generation don't even know her like that. I personally was a vendor in the bookstore at Essence before. Giving half of your profit to the bookstore? No, younger generation ain't doing that. Younger generation gonna give them a TikTok shop. They gonna learn how to manipulate the system and go viral and stay home. They drop shipping. Younger generation ain't doing that old school stuff no more. People can say marketing all they want, but if the younger generation was interested in it, it would have blown up. Marketing my butt. Younger generation be knowing about clubs and stuff that's going on that nobody know. It'd be a little secret. The younger generation don't care about that. New Orleans does though. New Orleans care about that because it brings in this here. And so if anything ever happen, is it'll no longer be called the Darker Hued Festival, and it will become like a yearly carnival or yearly fest, because New Orleans gonna still try to get this here. Trust and believe. Even if the Darker Hues don't come out, because they got to pay for them palm trees that they done put down there on Canal Street. Somebody got to pay for them palm trees and them street cars. Oh, you watch. It's the show gonna go on. They just gonna name it.
That's a very interesting take. Do you know? So, Melissa, do you know, when I'm 55, I'm not sure how old you are, but in your circles, do you find that other people your age are talking about Essence Festival, and in your circles or do you think that the younger people are just kind of getting phased out because the things that makes us excited don't no longer make them excited?
A lot of women in my circle don't really care too much about the Essence Festival. And it's because they feel like the intention is not there anymore to actually support Black women the way that it was intended to be, And also, I'm in Miami, so we would have to fly over there. They don't really see it worth taking the trip over there. And for me, I'm kind of so. I'm not really crazy about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I would love it. I'm a music person. I would actually love it. But to be honest, a lot of the times the artists that they have, they're not exactly the ones that I'm the most interested in. But I'm open to listening to any type of music. I'm just that type of person, and I would love to see people on stage. Now, according to we have a stat about the artists and the performers. A shift has been noted in the type of performers, including in the lineup. While iconic Black artists were a staple in earlier years, the festival now offers a feature of mixed popular mainstream artists, leading some to argue that the event is straying from its roots. Now, Marlo, I got to tap you again because I ain't so much. So have you seen that happen over the years of your attendance, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think LL Cool J was probably the first rapper to perform years ago, but he was like the first. So when he was performing, it was like, oh, Essence gonna have rappers, and then it was like, oh, but it's gonna be all old school rap. It's not gonna be any of this new stuff. Maybe I worked for Essence maybe in 2016, 2017, and what I saw was a shift. That's the last time I worked for them. I worked for other vendors and partners or people that had production companies, but the last time working directly for the festival or for the magazine, I did notice a shift in who was in charge. It was like much younger people at the corporate production level. It was, they were just much younger women. They were more interested in snappy moments. And I was interviewing people that I never heard of because I wasn't in the trending circles on Instagram and Twitter at the time. And I think that it definitely has changed in terms of performer. 10 years ago, Glorilla would not have been on the main stage. Megan Thee Stallion was there. Like, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. She wouldn't have been there, right? It has changed, but it's changed because the people that were running the show and the people that had a vested interest in that 20 years ago, those women have retired because, like I said, this was for established Black women. the target audience was 30 and up. It wasn't targeting 20 and 25-year-old Black women back in the late 90s and early to mid 2000s. They were targeting people with full-time jobs and PTO who could get, again, you had to logistically get to New Orleans and be able to stay, eat, do all the things you needed to do. So because it has skewed a little bit younger, I think that's why it feels rocky. I think that's why it feels a little bit disruptive, because there is this, old guard, people like me that know the festival, people like T that know the festival, and what it has been over the years, and younger people that are reimagining what the festival could be years down the line. So I think there is a little bit of off balance going on, but hopefully they'll figure it out. Hopefully.
Yeah, because I also feel this though, and we're going to take a quick commercial break after this. We are so glad to have Tierra with us today. She's our producer and all the things,
and live from New Orleans,
and live from New Orleans. So she is going to share with us our experience. But one of my her experience, but one of my concerns is we tend to see events always go up and down. It's just like the real estate cycle. It might be popping 5, 6, 7 years, and then it'll slow down a little bit. Then next, somebody will put another, a shot in its arm and it'll come back. So I'm just wondering if this is just a part of a lull that we are actually seeing in this, because we got to be very honest. It's not always just the artist or who's the sponsor. Guys, people, we are looking and trying to keep our money. Many of us are like, is it worth it for me? And many people, as we've had on this show, have said, some people are using Afterpay for groceries. So there's a lot that goes into this. So I think that this is a great conversation about culture, but we have to also address the fact that, money is a part of this as well. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
I know. You're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Listen, we always tell you that, if you're sitting back and complaining, there's really no reason to. There are many options out there. Fly Nubian Money Club is one of them. No excuses. Get in there and see that it is invaluable. It's priceless on what you're getting. So, hey, you got a 30-day free trial. Go check it out. Get your game up. Because, maybe you couldn't afford to go to the Essence Festival this year, but you can next year, because we can give you the tools to help you get there. Now, listen, my beautiful Tierra, you are there. You are live and doing it all the way. And I've seen all your beautiful pictures from the weekend. Tell us your experience and your thoughts on if you felt like the corporate sponsorship caused any issues with the event itself.
Well, I mean, I don't really know about if the corporate sponsors caused issues, but I know that we were definitely very mindful of corporate sponsors this year. I saw, there was a booth in the convention center, a Target booth, and what I noticed that Target did something different. They turned their booth, instead of it being red, they turned it pink. So people would, and then you couldn't really see, like, the Target sign was like the bullseye was like an oval. It was, like just little tricks, little mind games, right? I'd noticed that. And But that's about it. I mean, it was definitely way emptier than I've seen at an Essence festival. Usually there is black people spilling over all over the place. Like some of my, even some of my celebrity friends and, celebrity people that I know, I would just kind of hit up and say, "Hey, are you in the city this weekend?" It was like, "No, I'm here. No, I'm there. I'm traveling." Nah, like it wasn't a priority this year. I still saw celebrities there though. I still saw people on the ground participating. It was still a beautiful illustration of Black excellence. I mean, I'm not going to ever take that away from Essence. It was beautiful for thousands of Black people to be in one space. Nobody's fighting. We are all enjoying great music. And that's exactly what we experienced.
And that's what I love the most. And that's what I experienced when we went down twice for the football classic. I mean, it's just something, it's like a bigger family reunion. Like you found family that you didn't know you had, right? So that is what I love about our events, our connection, even though we may not know each other, you may find new connections. Michael says that there's an overhaul lull in the vibe of America right now. And folks are looking for more relevance for their dollars. Watch out for HBCU homecomings and classics this fall as well. Now, Melissa, I'm going to tap into that. Do you think that this will also spill over into other aspects of our cultural lives?
I'm sorry, I want to understand the full context of your question.
Well, he's saying that people are actually looking out for their dollars, and that may
Hmm.
be a part of why, this is not, there was, the attendance was a little lower. Do you think that we're going to see this in other aspects of our cultural lives?
Yes, definitely. And Dr. Boyce does a very good job at explaining it. We are just expelling money everywhere, and we're not being very disciplined with what goes where. So when these events go on, these are extracurricular activities, you know? So when we have groceries and rent and children and all of these priorities that we have to take care of, these events are just not a priority. So
Hmm.
we definitely need to get our finances in check so we can enjoy, because these are extra curriculum, like they're not necessary. It's nice to go to network and to expand our reach to see who's out there, but as a community, we have to get better with managing our money.
I agree. And like we talked about, in most cases, people have to fly in. Then, of course, you have to find the hotel rooms and, you're still eating and all those things. And people's budgets are just a little bit tighter. But I also
Mhm.
want to hit a stat about Black owned festivals. According to a 2023 survey, 40% of Black Americans feel that mainstream festivals like Essence Fest have shifted away from celebrating the culture they represent, while 55% say that they prefer supporting smaller Black owned festivals. Tierra, you're there on the ground, my love. So is that something that you felt? I mean, like, do you feel like they have shifted away from celebrating our culture? Did you feel that?
Um, No, not really. I didn't feel like they. No, I mean the people that are on the ground. It's like wherever Black people reside, there's going to be a celebration, right? So I felt like we were in full effect. I'm talking about, um, I came down to see the concerts. I was wanting to be a tourist. Like in my whole life of living in New Orleans, I never was a tourist. I was always kind of working Essence. Like in my teens, in my 20s, and up until I moved to California, I kind of just was like a worker. Even coming back to California and coming back from California, I still was working Essence. But I wanted to be a tourist this time and see artists and see artistry. And I felt like it was full blast celebration of Black people, because like I said, wherever Black people are, we're going to celebrate one another. What they're doing on the corporate ends, what I noticed, what I heard a lot of complaints on the other side was that Essence had to make a lot of budget cuts because there's not as much, because like Marlo has already said, there's a $2 million, there's $2 million missing from the state of Louisiana. Ticket sales are down. We're paying attention to who our sponsors are, and I think Black people are taking a stand on that. So I'll say no, I still got all of the celebration of Blackness. I had a ball, y'all. I mean, I had a good time, a good dirty time. I'm still having a good time. I ate all the good food, like all the things. Like it was just good. And I think people need to experience it. If you can experience it, you should. And I think, oh, you said something earlier about ticket sales. There was cheap tickets. Like you didn't have to have a $200 ticket. I saw a ticket 3-day passes for $350.
Oh,
Right.
that's
So
not bad.
yeah, yeah. No, not for 2711 artists. No. Like I got to see I mean everybody that you can think of. Like there was nonstop artistry. And I'm talking about great artists. People was just popping out of the woodwork. So it wasn't as expensive. It wasn't, it just wasn't that bad.
Well, I'm going to tap into you, Marlo. I want to get another perspective, another person's perspective as well. So, do you feel like that they are also shifting away from celebrating our culture? What is your experience? Do you feel like they're still tapped into our roots?
Yeah, I think that I mean, I assume because Essence Magazine is still in play, Essence Magazine still exists, that there will always be Black women choosing what happens during the festival. It'll still be guided by Black women. I think, corporate sponsors are going to do what they do. And if you've ever worked with a corporate sponsor, you won't get what you want all the time. But if you want to get that money, you make those concessions. And so I think that obviously people's minds are more tuned into what's going on in the world, which is great. We want it to be that way. But I think also turning inward and like cannibalizing stuff that is for us, and that we are still the dominant culture of, that's not beneficial either. That's not solution oriented. I think that if people want to come up with a solution, somebody you mentioned earlier about smaller Black festivals, well, yeah, support the local festivals where you live. Stop needing to be lit out of town. Part of it is the perception of litness that is driving us crazy, right? Because like I said, locals in New Orleans used to look forward to the Essence Festival. New Orleans locals go to the Essence Festival. So it's not like it's not an event. It's an event where locals get knocked out of the event. They go. So I think if you want to support the local festivals, support the things that are in your community, and just stop looking for litness elsewhere. Joe, you've been going to this festival 10 years now, you bored. Well, what happens when that state dollars get taken away from a smaller festival? Because all festivals get these tourism incentive dollars. So what happens when that small festival loses the $10,000 that it was getting from the state or the city or the town or whatever? I think that we just got to look at this stuff. As we get more informed, we need to get more informed. You need to know what the links in the chain are and how removing something or breaking a link is going to affect the overall quality of the thing that you say you relish and love so much. You got to learn more, understand more, knowledge more. And that'll preserve our culture. Us not understanding and appreciating our culture is how it gets watered down, because we turn our backs on it. I've been doing that, I want to do something new. Then you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it.
I have to agree. Now, one thing in Louisville, it's not as big as the Essence Fest, but one thing that I noticed in our community there is we got the Derby. We got the Kentucky Derby. Like, I thought everybody in the world celebrated the Kentucky Derby the way we celebrated it. And then when I moved away, people was like, what is that? But there's two derbies. There's the white people derby, and there is us folk derby. And that is lit. When I tell you all of the events that we go to, all of the entertainment that comes on there, that's something that we celebrate. So, I will always support the smaller festivals. And if you live in an area that has that, or even just a town over, because if Louisville wasn't having it, Cincinnati was having it, or Chicago was having it, and that was nothing but just a day drive. So you have to put in what you want to and stop the complaining. We actually have another video I want to watch. And then we'll get back into the conversation.
And I have a question when we come back for all of you.
Okay.
All right.
In the world of buy now, pay later, credit card debt being over $1 trillion, and people selling out Beyonce tickets, I do not want to hear that people are not going to Essence Fest because of money. People are not going to Essence Fest because of the values that they're standing on. Because did we forget? One of the companies we're supposed to be boycotting is one of the major sponsors. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, but they're in a multi-year contract. They can't just pull out that easily. Let me remind you who owns Essence Fest. This guy, Rich Dennis, is a capitalist, first and foremost. Him and I went to the same alma mater. I actually met this man. He is about the good old American business model. And he owns Essence Ventures, which is a private equity firm that's all about precision targeting and driving ROI and accessing the $1.4 trillion in Black Americans. So this has nothing to do about whether or not Essence wanted to be moral and ethical. Their target is precision targeting, so getting you in the door and driving the ROI. Now, are they doing that well this year? I don't know. We shall see. And I love the selective outrage.
Very interesting information that I didn't know about. But Tiara, you said you have a question.
Yeah, I did have a question. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Go ahead. We're going to come back to it. No. In the moment, I was like, oh, but wait. Oh, yes, I do have a question. So, in terms of like, I hear you talking about like supporting local festivals and us supporting our own. But you know what happens when Black people do really well at something? Like when we really like create something that's amazing, people come in and want to be sponsors of it. People come in and want to be like, oh, y'all making money around here? Take that shit, right? Like, so it's so interesting that this Essence, like Marlo has already said, was a small festival initially. Everything starts out small, and then we just make it amazing. One of the things is like when you come into America, and you really can't do well without like being you're not cool unless Black people give you the stamp of approval first in America. Like when it comes to music, entertainment, that's who we are. We are the validators of what's cool. And so us knowing that we have that type of we have that type of power. We not only have money, but we also have influence. I wonder why we don't, and I guess this is my question. What do you all think about this? Like us understanding that we have this much power and that we can really, once we get our things, we don't have to sell it off. Like, so what type of, we don't have to give it away. We don't have to say yes to corporate sponsors. I heard Marlo say we need corporate sponsors. Do we? Do we need them? Do we need them if we can just kind of hold on to the essence of what Blackness is in our own things? Like, isn't that part of like starting something and keeping it for ourselves? I mean, we sell away everything. Everything we build is sold away.
You need corporate sponsors because just using Essence as the baseline, because that's where we are. The Superdome costs money. The Essence Festival is not getting the Superdome for free, right? Those artists cost money. The sound design costs money. Everything is about a buck. So are they going to absorb that cost and them not profit so that they could give you a party? Are they going to break even by charging you a nominal amount and then partnering with other people? There's no way to do that festival other than to charge people out the wazoo for the tickets, right? You take that convention center experience, it is no longer free. The convention center now costs $25 a head, $45 a head, right? Because the corporate sponsors want their logo out. I learned this producing football. I used to hate giving my program time to my corporate sponsors. But what I understood is that if I didn't have those corporate sponsors, I didn't have a show. The kids didn't get the spotlight on Friday night. The college bound or the NFL bound college superstars didn't get the highlight. They didn't get the highlight to make it to ESPN if they're not on TV, if I'm not dealing with these corporate sponsors. It is the way that it is. I would love if Black people just stepped up with their own corporations and sponsored it. But the truth is, a lot of Black people that talk about generating money for Black people are not sponsors of Black events. And so even if we don't have to go to white corporate sponsors, but where are the Black corporate sponsors? And so I think that that's really where we are. Even the local law firm, the local dentist or doctor's office, where are they in supporting these events that bring us money? I went to a small festival here locally. That's a 3-day Black festival run by the Omegas, the Omega Sci-Fi. It's a local chapter that puts it on. They have corporate sponsors. I didn't see any Black corporations. I didn't see any local Black lawyer logos hanging up. And this is Omega Sci-Fi. Certainly they have attorneys within the fraternity that could afford to be sponsors.
Okay.
But we
All
have
right. Okay. Okay. All right. So can I ask Marla, I mean, can I ask Lala then, how do we balance that? Like, how do we balance needing to put the event on so Black people can come and be celebrated and not sell out? How do we do that?
That's a hard question because, for one, you have to want people in your own community who want to do these things. You can't make anybody do anything. I can tell you now how many fashion shows, how many talent shows, how many everything I have done and put together growing up where nobody in our community wanted to tap into that. They all were saying, well, why don't you go down to the Winn-Dixie, see if Winn-Dixie will help you? Why don't you go down to the fashion shop and let them donate their money? And so when you are talking to our community, you have to want to talk to those who want to be a part of this. You can't make somebody want that. And I think that's where we get frustrated more than anything. But then we want to now boycott companies because of their policies. And then we want to fight that, but still yet we can't have both worlds, which also leads me into another question. And I'm going to toss it to Melissa. So do you believe that our Black events like the Essence Fest should be rooted in activism, or is just entertaining enough?
I'm always going to go back to the foundation because I'm all about Black people being liberated from this system, period, right? We need to get ourselves together first, right? Individually. And then we can come together collectively. We need to really understand our value as a people. Like, I will always say that because that's what it comes down to. Everyone is making money and profiting, and they're prosperous because of our value all around the world, in every country. Everyone is benefiting from the labor and from the fruits of what Black people did and does. So until we understand and know our history, and not the whitewash history that they taught us in school, but that real history that they tried to destroy, there's still so much history still here. We need to know the truth of who we are. We need to know who our ancestors were, what they did, why we're in this position we're in now. Why are we a billion, trillion, quadrillion dollar people, but we have nothing? We don't own anything. We shouldn't be going to corporate spot. All this stuff, we created it. We've been working for free for so long, and look at the position that we're in right now. We have so much with so little. We just
Well,
don't know who we
you're
are.
so right about that. Like today, I mean, and this is kind of like in line what we're talking about because it does involve entertainment and it involves musical artists. Today, I saw something online that thoroughly pissed me off more than anything in the world. I am tired of everyone tapping into our culture and making all the extra money for it. Perfect example, y'all remember the song Supersonic, JJ Fad, right? Okay,
Mhm.
that was us all the way. It was us women loved it. But then today, what is the Japanese and Korean culture doing? They're taking that exact same song and revamping it and calling it their own. At what point do we pride ourselves and stop letting other cultures dig into ours to make that money? What do we do? Well, goes back to Tiara's question. We got to freaking want it. We had popular dentists in my neighborhood. We had doctors. We had hairdressers. But they didn't want to tap into it until they saw maybe Humana donated. Now we can put our name on it because Humana's name is on it. So at some point, you're going to have to step out there on faith on your own and know that your business is just as much as important as the big corporations. And if we have enough within our own community, you ain't got to carry the whole weight. Because I'm pretty sure that there's at least 10 to 20 that all can come together and make a good and a fun event and be happy. And then also gain the business that you need from having your name on it. So I think it's time for a commercial. Is it time for a commercial? I think so. But this next commercial is going to tap into what we need to talk about. Okay, check this out.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
We probably, but we want you to also take this conversation to heart. We are looking for you. And we're looking for you to also be stand-up corporations and businesses within our community. So if you're sitting back and you're complaining that Target and these other places are being the corporate sponsors and now they're backing out and this person is owned by the Caribbean people and not us and blah, 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 then step the fuck up, because I'm actually pretty tired of it now. Because if you can complain about it, then you can do something about it. And that's just how I feel about it. Because there's no reason we should be having this conversation when we should be supporting our own. And it's simple as that. Y'all can go and see Sinners. I went 5, 6, 7 times because I wanted to make sure that that film got the attention and the money that it needed. So put your money where your damn mouth is. Stop complaining and do it. So Matthew Samuel says, now that most of Essence Magazine's editors and managers are either African or Caribbean, what I just say, they don't seem to understand Black American culture. That's why Essence Fest is no longer resonating with our Black people. Marlo, comments.
Well, I don't know if it's not resonating. We got Black people on the panel that went and said they had a good time. And I got Black people texting me who came to the festival and they were like, it was dope. I wish you would have been able to make it. All my friends' pictures look like they were having a good time. They all Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, as people say. They had a good time. I think that they felt like the Caribbean ghosts were doing a thing with their mind, or I don't know what y'all got going on, but infighting between, like let's look at this for a minute. We all talking about Black people need to come together. So only American Black people who can trace their lineage to chattel slaves. Is that it? We excluding Caribbean people that also suffer through chattel slavery. What are we doing if not trying to be the blackest white people right now? Focus. We must focus, Black people, and decide what you want. Maybe you don't want a big old Essence Festival, but how could you come together with people in your community and do something fun that you care about? Maybe you don't care about music, maybe it's art. How can you get an art walk going where people can see the works of Black artists of all ages and all spectrums be on display? Think about what you can do and stop talking about what needs to stop being done. Like that's the biggest issue for us, is that everybody can recite the problem. Nobody is sitting down devising a solution. And your solution don't have to tap each of the 14% of Black people that make up this country. You tap in 1% of that 14%, it's a whole lot, friend. It is you tapped a whole lot of people if you tap the 1% of the 14% of the Black American population.
Couldn't have said it better. But listen, we kind of rolled through this pretty fast because we asked some really valid questions. And we appreciate everybody putting their comments in too. But I still ain't really heard our viewership family give us your solutions. Right now, I've actually only heard what you think is wrong. So why don't you flip that? Because it's a mindset thing on how we can flip this into something that we all want together without tearing one another down. With that being said, it is time for final thoughts. And I think I already said, man, all that loud because my poor little heart was like, but we are actually we're going to have our final thoughts. And please tell us where we also can find you, ladies. Melissa, we're going to tap you first. What are your final thoughts on this and where can we find you?
I just want to say, Black people, I love you so much. I love you all. It took so much for us to be here. Like, we are literally the survivors of a system in a world that tried to destroy us. So just, give yourself a hug and like be thankful for life. I'm telling you, they didn't want us to be here. They don't want us to have money. We're not supposed to have things and have fun. We have so much to offer. So please just value yourself. My name is Melissa. You can find me on Instagram at Melissa_X017. And thank you as always.
You know what to do. And Melissa actually did not say that she has a lot of things coming up. So you want to make sure that you follow her on her Instagram so that you will be abreast of what her next big thing is. So go and do that now. Marlo, my love, I feel like we have just had you talking and going all day, and you got all the stuff. I'm telling you, you lit a fire in my heart. So what is your final thought and where can we find you, my love?
I think in terms of, the Essence Festival and other things like that, I said what I had to say. If you want something, do something. Ain't no need in you complaining about what somebody else have or doesn't have, and you're not doing anything to bring value to your community. So that's really all I got for y'all. I would rather take my little time to thank, publicly thank somebody who did a really big public acknowledgement of love for me. I want to thank my fiance Herb Stamps. He arranged what he thought was a secret proposal. I knew it was coming. I accept it. I'm very, very happy. And I just want to encourage men. If you love your woman, if you want to have a future with her, or you are building a future with her, let her know so that she can reciprocate that, so that y'all can build a great thing together. I look forward to many, many, many more years of friendship and growing love with you. Thank you so much. It was so beautiful. The ring is.
Hey. Hey, hey, brother-in-law.
Yes, yes. Follow me on Instagram. That's my IG handle right there. Maybe I'll go and watch Lala's how to be an influencer, how to be a video content creator, how to be all the things. So I could, share some knowledge bits with y'all, because I feel like y'all need it. I feel like it's overtime. I've been hiding in the closet for too long. I need to come on out and help build the Black America that we all say we want.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And you're already doing that too with your group, Marlo. You are actually helping other people be seen. We want to see you being seen a little bit more too. So make sure that you go and follow Marlo and you go to her website. And congratulations, Queens. We are so excited. When I saw that, I get all giddy. I'm just that old mushy little old Pisces that just loves love. And I was just like, I ran to my husband and said, so congratulations. We are so happy for you. Tiara, it's your turn. Tell us your final thoughts and where can we find you?
All right. So I'm just going to end this here, right? I understand the issues that people are having with Essence, especially with corporate sponsors, with the climate of our country, with where we are as Black people. I understand all of that. This weekend, I decided, even though I didn't realize that Target was a sponsor, I probably would have made another decision just based off, because I do stand on business with that. but I went, and I wanted to go and as an artist watch artists to study. I was like, oh, Boyz II Men is coming out this way. Oh, they got a little shoot. Like it, my intention was really to go watch artists as an artist, and because I'm working on a show, you know what I'm saying? So that was my intention. I did enjoy myself. I wanted to see my friends and my family and people that I've known for ever, almost 25 years
Uh-oh.
or
Did
to
we
loved
lose
on.
her?
I
Oh, there
came to
she
the
is.
South to get loved on. Right, I just came to the South to get loved on. So if you just be mindful, if you do decide to do something like this, just understand that we don't own it. And I don't know if that's bad or good, or what. I know, I think it is what it is. Like, we have the same complaints over and over again about us not owning things, but it's like it comes down to, like, do I want to enjoy myself with other Black people? This is what the situation is. You can then make an informed decision and say, here are the facts, what am I going to do? And then make that decision. I did that, and I had like I said, a good dirty time, and that's what I did. So I don't regret it. I'm not sitting down like, dang it, I shouldn't have. I had a good time. I enjoyed Black people. I was inspired by a lot of things. So if get down there if you can. If you can't, you can't. It's all good.
And where can we find you?
Oh, I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms.
And y'all better be following
Can't
her
wait.
because she's got some music coming out. And if you ready to dance and get down with it, you need to make sure that you follow her because it's been an exciting journey. And she's been chronicling this. And so if you've missed any of that, please make sure that you go on our social media and really see what it is about being an artist and this journey. It's not easy. It's not what y'all think that it is, okay? It's hard work, and we tap into our creativity. And when we put that out there, it's like birthing babies, all right? So go and support her and make sure that you follow her. Now, listen, here's my thing. I'm tired of talking about it. You're either going to be about it or you're not going to be about it. And if you're not going to be about it, then move to the side and let somebody else do the work. And if you want to be a critic on the side, take that shit and keep it in your house because don't nobody want to hear it. If you can't be a part of uplifting, then you surely don't need to be one out there complaining. My main thing that I always say is if you can't help, you surely should not hurt. And I truly feel that way. If you want to make the difference, you'll make the difference. If you want something bad enough, you'll go for it and you'll see it's worth it. You won't let anything stop you. So if you are actually looking to move out of the country, because you just are kind of tired about things right now and you want to be a world citizen because that's how you also can learn what you can bring back to help thrive, then I have a great quiz that's going to help you decide on where you are in that journey. So go to my website, www.laurakey.net. Check that out because I know a lot of people are talking about it, but go see what other people are doing about their festivals in our other countries as well. And then bring that beautiful education that you learn back to the States. Listen, we want to say thank you so much for being here. This has been a really good conversation. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we love you. And you know what? If you love us, not just here, go out and be proactive with something to help uplift our community. We thank you for joining us today. It's been a crazy good conversation. The Essence Music Festival has been a cornerstone, a real cornerstone of Black culture. But we're now at a crossroads. Whether we continue to support it or decide it's time for a change, one thing is clear. We can't forget where we came from. And we must remain true to our roots. So let's think critically about what truly represents us and how we can make our culture really celebrated authentically, because that's what's important. We don't want to whitewash it. So until next time, which is tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, stay empowered, stay strong, and remember, your culture is your power. Be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.